CAIR is one of the most important organizations for America today. Not only are we standing up and fighting for American Muslim rights, we're fighting for all American rights. That the legacy that we leave right now will have a long-lasting effect for every generation coming in the future. During the election cycle, CAIR-Missouri worked with the whole coalition of partners and held a major rally at Washington University when Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton did their debate in that university.
We are here today. We have gathered here today from the most diverse background that this country has to offer to say loudly and unapologetically that we say no to hate.
A few of the major cases we worked on this year involved the El-Nasur family.
Scuffle between South St. Louis neighbors has turned into allegations of Islamophobia. Today, the local chapter of the Council on American Islamic Relations held a news conference calling on law enforcement to take action.
He had mentioned more than once that he didn't like our kind, he didn't like who we were, and go back where we came from.
Then just before Thanksgiving, friends were helping the Al-Nasurs finish their driveway. That's when their neighbor drove up. The incident captured on surveillance.
I knew he said, like, if you don't want to finish it, I'll finish it for you. He reached back in and pulled his gun out. And that's when you could see, like, their reaction. They all stepped back.
Subhanallah, it just so happened that across the street from the El-Nasur family, the Ekich family bought a home. And that night, Saturday night, at around midnight, somebody went and set that house on fire.
Today, a local Islamic group is calling on authorities to investigate what it calls a hate crime.
The Missouri chapter of the Council on American Islamic Relations is holding a news conference to urge law enforcement to take a closer look at a house fire. But just the day before the fire, a Bosnian Muslim family bought it. The civil rights organization believes the fire was intentionally set and wants it to be investigated as a hate crime.
Often when we think of hate crime, we think of something happening far away. No, this is happening right here, right now in your community, and we need to be able to come together in order to stand up and provide civil rights legal defense for people who are suffering discrimination today. We've seen over a 300% increase in bigoted hate crimes against our community. But it's not only against our community. Hate is rising in America. In fact, we all remember the Jewish cemetery in University City was a target of vandals, and over 100 gravestones were desecrated in that cemetery. When the Muslim community found out, we were able to create a Launch Good campaign and raise over $160,000 with people of all faiths contributing to that campaign. Not only that, but here locally, we organized a group of American Muslims to visit the Jewish cemetery and help with the cleanup effort.
With police still looking for suspects, volunteers from the local community are fixing what they can, and more than $120,000 have poured in, including from the Muslim American community.
When it comes to us as Americans, united by the Constitution of the United States, that gives the freedom of religion to every citizen of the United States, and that is against any hate speech, crime, whatever, then we're together.
Donald Trump made a campaign promise to ban Muslims from entering into this country, to target people just because they happen to have the wrong religion.
Donald J. Trump is calling for a total and complete shutdown of Muslims entering the United States until our country's representatives can figure out what the hell is going on.
Donald Trump then went and signed an executive order to start the Muslim ban. And of course, it created chaos all across the country. People were being deported at airports, people were being detained and arrested at airports, and it was chaos. At CAIR, we want to make sure that this president realized that we elected a new president, but we did not elect a new constitution. We were able to participate in one of the largest protest demonstrations at St. Louis Lambert International Airport. A few weeks after that protest, CAIR-Missouri led an effort along with our allies and partners in order to hold a large demonstration downtown St. Louis.
Chapter on Council on American Islamic Relations will be holding a rally today.
Streets of downtown St. Louis this afternoon to protest against President Donald Trump's travel ban.
Thousands of people came out. We had media coverage from across the country coming to cover that event in order for us to show unequivocally that St. Louis is a city, is a community that does not fall victim to hate, that refugees are welcome here, immigrants are welcome here, Muslims are welcome here, and we have one of the largest demonstrations that this city has ever seen. because of the new focus on Islamophobia, on hate, on anti-Muslim bigotry, we have seen a dramatic spike in the number of times that we've been interviewed, that we've been asked to go on TV, newspaper, radio, and every news outlet you can imagine. Not only local news, but national and even international news as well. Here to pay for the media coverage that we earned through our advocacy and our work, you'd have to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars in order to pay for that type of media coverage. We are able to provide this community with hundreds of thousands of dollars of free media coverage to give a voice to our community within the media. And the increased attention is not only with mainstream media, but even with the far-right, crazy fringe media that's out there. Recently, Robert Spencer, a notorious anti-Muslim bigot that makes millions of dollars a year promoting hatred and bigotry against American Muslims, was invited to Truman State University.
Near opposite views on Islam. A huge crowd came out to Truman State University tonight to hear both Robert Spencer and Fazan Saeed. Muslim Students Association invited Fazan Saeed. He's the director of the Council on American-Islam Relations in Missouri. Saeed presented a history of the Muslim faith and culture and reminded the room of the country's history of singling out a certain group of faiths to be critical of.
The experience was amazing because we were able to reach a population of people who were not just friends of the Muslim community, but even people who found our community to be suspicious. We were able to change the hearts and the minds of even Trump supporters at that event. Ever since then, he's been starting to troll me on Twitter and challenge me into another debate in St. Louis. How desperate do you have to be in order to stay relevant by challenging people to debate you on Twitter? This year especially, we learned that we cannot sue our way to a solution. We have to start the process of changing the perception that people have of Islam and Muslims in America. That's why this year CAIR-Missouri has initiated several outreach programs in order to start challenging the stereotypes that people have about our community. This year we held the first ever Great Muslim Food Festival in St. Louis, a one-day food festival where thousands of St. Louisans, our friends, neighbors, co-workers, came to Forest Park World Fair Pavilion in order to break naan with the American Muslim community. This year we also held Creativity and Identity.
We're here today for the first ever Muslim art exhibition in the St. Louis city area, and the idea is to bring local Muslim artists to come and present their art.
We also helped organize the first Palestine festival here in the greater St. Louis area. This year we held the Make America Whole Again open house at the Dar al-Jalal Islamic Center in order to bring Trump supporters to the Islamic Center, to meet their Muslim neighbors, ask difficult questions, and together build a community that we all want to live in.
The Council on American-Islamic Relations and the Islamic Center of Central Missouri organized a rally to support the Rohingya.
We wrote over 1,000 letters and sent them to our senators, our representatives, demand that they help and stop the genocide and the ethnic cleansing in Myanmar. CAIR-Missouri is very active in empowering the next generation of American Muslims to be active not only tomorrow, but today. We need young people to rise up, to have the skills to speak in public, to debate, to understand how the media works, to understand how government works, in order to change the narrative for tomorrow. Many people are worried, what is tomorrow going to bring? Is there a future for Muslims in this country? And I say yes. The work that we are doing today is going to create that legacy that all generations of people will benefit from tomorrow. I encourage you to get up, to get active, to take a stand, because when you and I get involved in being the change that we want to see, then you will see that change happen in our society.